Is it USA or ASU? Is it USA or ASU? Arizona, the state of Zion. The only state where you can spell Zion out of. Anyone got any questions about Mullen? I can tell you all about it. So, a little over a month ago, early February, the price dropped to 52 cents. In the next 2 days, it went up to $2. And I was like, oh, looks like a pump and dump. I'm sure they'll dump it. These things with option chains never go to the moon. And then they crashed the price from $2 all the way to $1 on March 1st. And I was like, oh, fuck. They did not just crash this price back to its bottom. They did not just give retail the opportunity to buy the dip. And so I watched it, and then the next day, it like held at $1, and that's when I went full Mullen. And I started watching the option chains every single day. There was 500,000 new dollars going into call options on Mullen. So there's so much FUD out there about stocks and options. Just so you guys understand, like if big, heavy institutional investors have options in a stock, it's not going to squeeze. The only chance in the world you see that squeeze is something like Tesla, where they're trying to control a narrative and put all the money on one man and make Elon Musk a superhero. But outside of that, if that's not what's happening, like GameStop, like AMC-ish, AMC was a little different. GameStop was all about trying to make Ryan Cohen a hero. AMC was more about trying to stop a dilution war. But basically, when you see call options being bought on a stock and you see lots of volatility up and down, you know it's only retail buying call options. And so when I saw $500,000 go into options the day after it dropped from $2 to $1, and then I saw another 500,000 10 days in a row, I'm just like, oh God, retail bought the dip. Retail bought the dip. Finally, it's happening again. And so Mullen, it went from $1 to $4 in a couple weeks. Then it dropped all the way down to $2.20. Now it's playing around $3, and it's about to go way up. Like, they only have so much dilution. So from its 52 cents all the way to its price now at $3, the float has increased from 20 million shares to probably close to 300 million shares, because we haven't got last week's dilution numbers. And the week before that, it was 240 million shares. And so if you look at the float, it's gained over 1,500% probably. Close to 1,500% in just a month is how large the public float has grown. And that just only means one thing every time. Retail bought the dip. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Opportunities like this do not come around every day. There was a lot of them at the same time back in 2020 and 2021. Like if you bought in NEO back in 2020, you probably missed out on Tesla. And so you can only throw all of your money at one thing at one time if you're like the best investor in the world and you know what's going to do the most ROI percent increase. And so I'm a believer, when you know that something is guaranteed and when you know it's going to be the best out of everything out there, you got to go all in on it. And so when you go all in on it, it's obviously Mullen this time. But when you go all in on it, you make more money than everybody in that 3-month, 6-month, however long it takes for a dilution war to happen. But when you go all in on it, you make more money than everyone else. So people that diversified and they bought Tesla, NEO, AMC, GameStop, and they had 6 different investments. A lot of them do well when the other one does great, but only one of them ever does the best. At any given time, when there's a giant squeeze in the stock market and stocks are going crazy, there's only one stock that ever does the best. And the math has proven to date that Mullen has the best math and will squeeze the best out of any stock when these stocks actually go crazy. Now, because they hate the investors in a lot of stocks like GameStop, like AMC, the rich people don't like the people investing in those stocks. And so not only that, but a lot of the AMC and GME investors see what's happening with Mullen, and they're selling their 100% all in on AMC to get at least 50%, like half in on Mullen. And what I'm getting at is, if you're trying to make money outside of Mullen, don't pick the ones where you think the most retailers are going to be. Pick the ones where you think have a good story, have all the things going for it, and probably less retail investment, because they're going to let those run with Mullen, and they're going to use like basically everything that runs when Mullen runs is just to distract from Mullen to get people to buy other stocks, because right now too many people are going 100% all in on Mullen. That's what's happening right now. And so Mullen still ends up being the best investment every single time, whether it's Mullen or AMC or whatever it is during the dilution war squeeze. But right now it's Mullen. I mean, Mullen could be so big one day, like it could be so big here in a second that it never happens again. Like, this could crush a market. If this was done properly and everyone was on the same page, this could crush the market in a day. Okay, so somebody got a question about the April 14th options. So I got 80% of my money in April 14th options, the $10 strikes. The rest of my money is in July $10 strikes for my 20% of money on Mullen. And what I would say to you is, if you have all your money on April 14th strikes, or a lot of your money on those, then when you see $8, $9 next week, consider taking out 25% of the profits, which is going to be well over what you invested in the April 14th, and let the rest run, because it might squeeze this week. And if it doesn't squeeze this week, I believe it's going to squeeze next week, and we're going to hit $20, $30, $40, $50. And so take out 25% of your profits. If you put too much into the April 14th, take out 25% of your profits, let the other 75% ride. If it dips one more time and they have one more dilution battle to beat the April 14th options, then you'll be able to throw all that money in at when Mullen's at $4, $5 on the $8 strikes for the May expiration, and you'll have 30, 40 days until expiration, and those will print so heavy if they dilute one more time. Like, we might see $100 if they try to dilute the next 2 weeks. And so you don't got to take a lot of your profits to secure way more than you had on your bet last time to make this bet even bigger. And all we got to do is hit the squeeze. It don't matter really how much you got invested into it. As long as you got some money in when it squeezes, you're going to make way more money than anybody that invested in stock. And we still love our stock investors. It's a known fact in this world that 90% of investors don't know how to buy options. They haven't upgraded their account to buy options. And so for me, Mullen's about taking care of yourself right now. It's squeezing no matter what. You don't got to help the squeeze. You don't got to exercise calls. You got to take profit. Now is the time to drain the blood from the machine. That is what we're doing here, people. That is what we're doing here. So somebody asked, can you explain high dilution favors retail as long as they are buying diluted shares? So all you got to do is look at AMC as the perfect example. The only reason AMC hit $72 was because retail kept buying the dips until we owned so much percent of the company that we almost owned all of it. And if they didn't let it go to $72 and make it and allow people to cash out and then crash the stock, if they didn't allow people to cash out at the $72 mark, then people would have never cashed out, and they would have kept buying until they owned 100% of the company. If we own 100% of the company and nobody's willing to sell the stock, it will go up 100,000% in a single day, unless they halt it. Then it'll go up 100,000% in the next day. But they'll never let us own 100% of the company. So when you see a small cap stock like Mullen, only at $3 a share, have 300 million shares diluted, and they only have 580 million shares they could ever dilute in their whole life without us voting for more dilution, But we know retail never votes for more dilution because we saw it with AMC. They said no dilution twice. They said it once in April and then another time in July. They said, fuck you, AMC. We want to squeeze. We don't want dilution. Little did we all know that like $72 was the high for AMC. The market cap's so high right now, they'll dilute all those shares in the ETFs that it's never squeezing. Like they will let it go to 50 and let people cash out before they let it squeeze to 1,000. It just can't do it. And so AMC was the first dilution war that ever really happened. And so I didn't know everything perfectly back when AMC happened, but now seeing it all with the second time around, like it's clear and obvious what's happening. It's retail only has a limited amount of buying power, and that buying power is on small cap stocks. And when they fight it with the dilution war, retail always comes back and keeps buying the dip. Because most people aren't like me. They don't just YOLO at 72 cents and throw everything in and hope for the best. Like they would rather throw in 25% and then see the chart progress and be like, ooh, this looks strong. Let's throw in another 25%. Ooh, this looks strong. Let's throw in another 25%. That's how retail works. And so it takes a little bit of time for this whole story to play out. But I mean, we're at 300 million shares from 20 million shares on the public float. And so you know it's going way, way up. You know it's going way, way up. Like retail can't leave until we get paid. I have only options. I don't own any stock, people. I only have options. This is about, like, again, 90% of people only buy stock. 10% of people buy options and stock. 1% of people buy like me. And my advice to you is make as much money as you can on this. When it hits $20, $30, $40, take profits all the way up and make sure that you make money and you change your life forever. And look for what comes next. Like take your money and do something powerful with it. Like make your life better. Make sure you don't got to go to work tomorrow. Make sure you don't got to slave for somebody else tomorrow. I'm all for that. But then after that, like let's make this world a better place. Man, this dilution happened so much faster than AMC's dilution. Like this Muln dilution. So we're at 300 million shares public float approximately after this week's that hasn't been announced. And the AMC, they diluted their first 120 million shares under $5. And then it went to $20. And they diluted another 100 million shares at $20. Like the FOMO kicks in. And when the FOMO kicks in, everybody chases. And so they got to have a dilution in the back to take care of the FOMO that comes after we start to skyrocket. And so basically Mullins diluted 250% more at half the price of shares of authorized shares ever possible to dilute. And that just means we're going to have a bigger squeeze than AMC even had. Options are pretty simple. Like if you're just doing long call options, if I buy a call option that costs 50 cents a share and it's at a $10 strike, then when I go to $11, I have $1 in the money intrinsic value. That means my 50 cents per option is now worth $1 per option. So I made 100% my money. But when it goes to $12, I've now made 50 cents into $2 of intrinsic value. And so now I've made 300% my money. When it goes to $20, now I've made 30x my money. And so the people in the stock only made 10x their money, while the people in the options made 30x their money. And so options are pretty simple when you play them simple, and you're just like there's some complex strategies for sure, but you don't need to know those complex strategies to trade the basic ones. I am saying AMC and GME will never squeeze. It will never happen, people. The market caps are too big. Retail has too little volume power to push into those stocks in any given day, week, or month to make them panic squeeze. Okay? So what that means is if you guys went crazy and bought $5 billion of AMC stock in the next week, they would just let it go back to $72. Half of you would sell, just like last time. And then, boom, they got their stocks back to have a whole nother dilution war. And all they ever got to give you is 100 to 200%. And too many people will sell that it'll never squeeze. Black Magic Money got up to 125K in a single day. And then the YouTubers told him to hold. I bought puts on AMC at 65. It dropped to 34 in 2 days. And I turned $10,000 into $80,000. Like, there was a big story before that. But the point is, if he would have thrown that $125,000 in, like I was telling people, he would have made $1 million in 2 days. We ain't falling for their tricks no more, people. We ain't falling for no tricks no more. Oh, man. I got good feeling about next week, but I'm, like, ready for the week after, and I'm ready for any time after that as well. Like, it don't matter how this play out. Mullen's going to take over the market. There's no chance this takes till August. We already bought 300 million shares under $3 in 1 month of dilution. They only have 250 million more shares ever, and they got to save some of that for the FOMO that comes in after they let our stock price goes up. So there's no way this takes more than 30 days, people. There is zero chance Mullen takes more than 30 days to hit $10. Zero chance. I mean, $6 calls are better than $10 calls if you plan on cashing out at $10. But if you plan on holding until $20 or $30, then $10 calls are better. For me, I don't like day trading the stock. I like waiting for highs, and then I like betting that it's going to go to lows. And so, for example, I'm going to hold my options until it hits $20, $30. I'm going to start cashing out, let it keep going up, start cashing out, let it keep going up. And then when I feel like the time is right, I'm going to buy a bunch of puts, and I'm going to 10x my money that I just 100x'd on the way up. Half of anything I cash out, I'm probably going to cash out for real. But the other half, I'm going to 10x it on the way down. And then when it hits a new bottom, I'm going to bet that it goes back up again. I'm going to play Mullen for a month at least. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know if I'll live stream during the squeeze just because I can't show my face on my YouTube computer when I live stream. YouTube took that away from me. And I don't like it. Like, it's just more fun. I don't know. And so, but anytime I make a trade, I will post it on my YouTube within 5 minutes, and I'll post it on my Twitter within 5 minutes, and I'll post it on my Discord probably faster than that. Like, basically, I'll start recording my video as I'm cashing out and buying puts, and then I will send that message to the Discord, and then I'll upload the YouTube video, which takes a couple minutes, and then I will tweet it as well. And yeah, every time I make a move, you guys will know about it. I don't think, like, here's the thing. If we run to $10 and then they drop it back down to $5, that means we're going to $100 soon. Okay? But I don't think they're that stupid. And I've said that in the past couple weeks, and I thought we'd be at 20 already. But right now, I think they can let us go to 30, 40, 50 without ever seeing a new high again with the amount of dilution they have. And so I personally am going to cash out profits at 20 and know that I secured my bag. But, like, I'm only going to cash out 25% at 20. At 30, I'll cash out another 30%. At 40, I'll probably cash out the rest. And that's when I'll probably buy puts. Boomer Assassins made a killing on AMC, and now he's about to do it on Mullen. Being in and out of Mullen is fine, I guess. But if you're not always holding a huge percent of your portfolio long in Mullen, you are dumb because you think you're smarter than the market makers. You're the same guy that's going to cash out all your money at $10, and then when you see it hit 30, you're going to look like a dumb fool. I promise you, nobody's going to be able to post more XXX% ROI, XXXXX% ROI than the God Pill. I will make the most money off Mullen. There's zero questions about it. And so if you're day trading, I hope you're only day trading half of your money and the other half you're leaving long just in case. Because if they were smart, 3 weeks ago they would have let this go to 10 when they've only diluted 200 million shares, and it wouldn't have gone above 10 in another 2 years. But they're not smart. They're like, no, fuck the poor people. The poor people don't deserve to make money. And so let's fight them. Let's start diluting their ass and make them sell. Oh, guess what? Retail bought the dip, bitch. We didn't have a steak dinner. We actually ended up going to Thirsty Lion, which is it's an okay restaurant, and it's a place where we actually met. The first time me and my girl ever met 6 years ago, we met at the bar at Thirsty Lion, and we went there and had some hamburgers and some good drinks and all that good stuff. I appreciate all you guys that sent me some money. You guys are some good peoples. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, we're getting plenty of volume, people. What you got to understand about the volume in Mullen or any short squeeze that ever happens is that when the volume hits 500 million shares, it's not because of a bunch of day traders. Most of the time on those 500 million share days, the price wasn't even moving enough for day traders to be going in and out, in and out, in and out. It really wasn't. And so what you got to understand is that they send it, like the market makers create $500 million of volume, and they're 90% of the volume on the 500 million days. And those are the days that retail are buying in for $50 million worth of volume. But then on the other days, when it's down to 100 million shares of volume, it's because retail's only buying 25, 30 million. But every single day, no matter what the volume's happening, retail's always buying more than they're selling. The last month of Mullen stock price and dilution is proof of that. They wouldn't have to keep diluting if retail wasn't keep on buying. So all you got to understand is when it's a 500 million volume share day, it's because we're only 5-10% of the volume. When it's 100 million share volume a day, it's because we're 20-30% of the volume. And they're just like the volume is total, it's hogwash. The only thing you can trust in volume is the open interest on call options, and that's all retail volume, and it's fucking sky high every day. It's sky high every day. There is no fear in Mullen. Mullen's already a done deal. We won on Mullen. If you're not holding till 20, you a bitch ass motherfucker. Simple as that. I live in Arizona. That's the Thirsty Lion we went to, the one at Tempe Marketplace. From my experience, the action happens regular market. The stock really starts to move when you know it's a real run. It's because it happens regular market. But then if it happens, if like we go up X% in a day in the regular market, and then it goes up another X% in a day in the after hours are going to keep on running. You better believe they're going to keep on running. There's nothing that can screw Mullen up. Like they can dilute for another 2 months, and then we go to $1,000 a share because we bought every single share, but they'll never let that happen. So the maximum dilution they have before they let us squeeze to 50 to 100 to 150 is like a month. But like if they go longer than 2 weeks, like I might raise my price target to 100. And so right now I'm sitting at 20, 30, 40 when I start cashing, but if they keep diluting at these prices, like my number only goes up. Yeah, man. I mean, like I'm always down to meet with people as long as it's not weird, and like I'm just a regular dude. I don't have all the answers to the world. I can weed out the bad answers, that's for sure. My best skill set is looking at what someone else is saying and proving why it's a piece of garbage. I got 80% of my money in 2 week to expire April 14th options. I think we're squeezing this week, and if we're not squeezing this week, I think we're squeezing next week. That's where I'm at. And ain't nobody telling me different. I discovered Mullen because I have this little website that says biggest gainers in the day. And for the last couple months, like I've been thinking about this strategy where instead of trying to find out which stock is going to move up, I wait for stocks to move up and then I slowly start building a short position. And every time I make profits, I just cash out my easy profits. And I was going to make a living off trading the market that way. And I just started checking what the highest gainers are in a day and see what continues for 2 or 3 days in a row, and then start betting those go down. And all of a sudden I found Mullen, and it went down way too fast after going way too high way too fast. And then I started looking at the option chains, and Mullen was just, it's a perfect storm, people. Mullen ain't a joke. If you think Mullen's a joke, you a joke. At 881, they get their final 200 million shares to dilute, but they won't dilute them all at 881. They got to take care of FOMO. In order to take care of FOMO, it's got to go to $20, $30, $40. Probably around the $8 mark. So when April 14th, $10 strikes hit and Mullen hits $8 stock price, I suspect that my options will be worth $3 or $4 a piece. And basically I bought them for 20 cents a piece. And so I'll probably cash out 25% just so I can buy a dip if they're dumb enough to keep diluting. But the other 75%, I'm going to let grow to millions. I want millions. Yeah, there are some cheap ass options right now. There's no better stock or option chain than fucking Mullen right now, that's for sure. Like $10,000 to make $1 million right now. That's where we at. Oliver Q, Mullen to 25, and he gets to quit his job. That's what we like to hear. Financial freedom's the goal. That's why we're here. As far as limit orders, I'm not necessarily against those. And so, like, if you want to limit order, like if you know you're going to cash out 25% of your money at $20 and you want to set a 25% limit order for when it hits $20, like, go for it. There's nothing wrong with the limit order. Whenever you're ready to, like, I personally don't do limit orders. I don't do stop losses. I don't do anything like that. I really just wait for the stock price to hit a number I like, and then I look at current prices, and then I sell a little bit above those prices because I know that it's gonna, like, as long as you're like looking at the stock price, like, it's gonna hit no matter what. Like you never see a squeeze hit a price and then it just instantly go away. Every price that it hits, it holds for a couple hours at least. Market makers got no choice to let Mullen run. Mullen has to run because they diluted too many shares at too low of a stock price. Market makers ain't got a fucking choice, just like they didn't have a choice when AMC went to $72. So currently I have 80% of my money on April $14 $14th expiration $10 strikes. And I got 20% of my money on the July $10 strikes. If I was to raise new money today, I'd probably throw it all on the May $8 strikes. 100%. If I got $100,000 today, I'd throw 100,000 of that on the May $8 expiration strikes. I still think the $10 April ones are going to do great, but like we're coming down to the wire here, and so if you're raising new money, you should definitely be putting that in the May $8 strikes, just because this is about securing the bag and making sure you win no matter what. Options do not help a squeeze, people. Unless you exercise your options, it does not help a squeeze. And very, very, very few people exercise their options. And so options are really just a way to piggyback off for the most profit. But the one thing that options did in the past month is it showed that retail was buying. They can hide the volume and the stock price volume with like being 90. The market makers can be 95% of the volume, or they can be 50% of the volume. And so whether it's 100 million shares or 500 million shares, they can manipulate that number of what it actually means for retail. But with options, they can't manipulate that number, and every call option you see bought on Muln is retail. And you know, for every option buyer, there's 10 times as many stock buyers. And so, and most of the option buyers are also stock buyers. And so, basically, you can use options as a way to gauge retail sentiment, but you can't really use options as a way to gauge how high a stock price will squeeze. I have no idea which Fortune 500 company is going to work with Muln. Honestly, I care very little about the company Muln. I mean, maybe I'll buy a car after I make a ton of money. My girl likes the cars. She looks at them and says, those are nice. And so if the battery technology comes out with the EV5 of 600 miles per range and 18-minute 300-mile charge, like maybe we'll buy a EV Muln. But I really don't care about the company. This isn't about the company. This is about a stock squeeze. This is about a dilution war, and this is about making money. I'm not buying any stock after the squeeze. I'm never buying stock in Muln. I said I was going to do that with AMC. They screwed my options, whatever. I never got the chance to do it with AMC. But now that I see that the MOAS is never going to happen and that we got to take profits when we can, I will absolutely never, ever, ever buy stock in Muln to help the squeeze. I am taking profits and I am buying puts, and then I'll buy calls again when I know it's going back up. I'm here to make the most amount of money. I am not here to facilitate the squeeze because you guys already done that. And so I'm here to be greedy while everyone else is just trying to guarantee their 10x. I'm here to freaking make 100 to 200x. And then with the puts and calls, turn that into eventual 10,000x, hopefully. Shut up, Moon Investment. You're a retard. They are not sending this down on Monday. Anyone that thinks that this is going back to 220 is a retard. And so I got to ban you for saying that. Every option that's created is market makers like Citadel. They might pawn it off to the hedgies, kind of like they did with GameStop. When you saw hedgies go bankrupt with GameStop, that was only because the market makers made them. Basically, the way that options work is that market makers fulfill all the volume in the options, and then they pawn them off to the hedgies. And they got contracts where each hedgie is like designed to facilitate volume in a certain area of the market. Like they don't really get to choose which bets they bet against. And so you can bet when Mullen skyrockets, there will be hedge funds that go bankrupt. But it wasn't because they were stupid. It's because they signed a contract, and that's where that's the piece of real estate they got in the options market. I still have April option contracts. I still think they're good to go. But if I get more money, I'm buying the May $8 strikes. I got 80% of my money in 2 weeks to expire $10 strikes, and I'm feeling great about it. No, I don't start buying puts until after $20, $30, or $40. But yes, I will let you know when I start buying puts. I don't know how much more dilution there's going to be. I know that they only have 200 million more shares they can ever dilute before the squeeze. And so I've been betting every week before that like they're not going to hold this out much longer. They can't. They can't afford to. It'll be a run up for a couple days, up to a couple weeks, and then after that, it will have a huge downfall. But it's not going to go to $20 for an hour and then drop back down to $5. That never happens. I don't know if the market makers are watching. Like, I think the criminal justice department's watching. I think I'm going to be in court like DFV was, but they're going to actually try to paint me like a bad person. But I'm ready for it. You better believe I'm ready for it. I think it will go much higher than $20 now. I think we're going to see $30, $40, $50, no problem. But I'm taking profits at 20 and then more at 30 and then more at 40 and then I'm buying puts. I think this week we're going to 40, but like it could happen next week. Who knows? No one really knows, people. They can't hedge options. There is no hedging options. You cannot hedge options. Hedgers cannot hedge options on a stock that retail owns. If retail owns the float, that means retail owns the options, and that means hedgers cannot hedge against it. And just like in GME, when hedgers went bankrupt, the same thing's going to happen with Muln. I guarantee it. Wait for the news. You will see this hedge fund went bankrupt because they couldn't hedge. They knew it was going to skyrocket, but it was their money that was obligated to be the bet against Mullen bets, and so they go bankrupt no matter what. There is no hedge. The only way they could hedge is to buy a shit ton of stock, but there's no stock left. And they will never dilute to hedge funds. They will only dilute to retail. The catalyst is retail buying. Any catalyst they try to paint a picture of when it actually pops off is fake news. There is no fucking catalyst. The catalyst has already happened. We're already squeezing. To the Moon Investment's a fucking retard. He says it's going to drop hard Monday and Tuesday. I'm hiding him from this channel permanently. He's a fucking moron. There is nowhere left for the stock price to drop. If you think so, you're fucking retarded too. 250 is the lowest we could see, and I don't think we'll see it. I don't think we'll see it. Yeah, AMC and GME got to be stopped talking about. We got to learn from what happened in those investments and understand how we can apply it to the future. And Mullen is that. And when Mullen pops off, the whole world's going to know it. And it's no longer going to be AMC and GME were a one-time thing, and now the hedges learned from their mistakes, because obviously they did not. Man, I don't care about any insiders. I don't care about any news that we get about insiders buying stocks. None of that. I don't care about who the Fortune 500 company is. None of that means anything. All I care about is the squeeze. I mean, so somebody just asked, so most all the data current price is currently an intimidation game? 100%, but even worse. Like what they're doing should be illegal. S3 shows 1,000% short interest. Will Mead, with 200,000 followers, blue check verified on Twitter, been tweeting 130% short interest on Mullen for 2 weeks now. 3 weeks probably. Freaking Ortex data is only showing 20% short interest. And they're the only ones that show 188 million float or outstanding shares, even though we just got an S3 or SEC filing on Monday saying there's 240 million outstanding shares. And so S3 data is saying 20 million shares outstanding. Most of the online play, Robinhood's now saying 600 million market cap. Like all the data is saying different shit to confuse people. But all you need to look at is how many outstanding shares there are versus how much the stock price is. That gives you the market cap. We know Monday there's 240 million shares, which puts us at a $700 million market cap. But yet, even Ortex data doesn't say 240 million outstanding shares right now. They're still saying 188 million from 3 weeks ago. All the data is bullshit. If you're following the data and you're making trades based off the data, like, you're mentally retarded. Yeah, I have a monetized YouTube. I just don't monetize my videos right now. If you want to pay me money, go look at my community channel. I just posted a thing about a PayPal. Every dollar I get right now just goes to making my girl a little bit happier because she's struggling right now. We all struggling. I know that. We all struggling. But if you got any pocket change, I'll take it. I appreciate it. So hedgies aren't making this mistake. It is my personal opinion. I don't have any facts to prove this yet, but I believe that it will come to light one day that the market is an algorithm, and the algorithm says the more that retail buys, the more we need to drop the price. The more that retail sells, the more we raise the price to make them regret selling. That's why GME and AMC went up so much, because so many people sold to buy Mullen. And so they try to make you regret it. And so many people bought Mullen that the algorithm at the DTCC, who owns every single stock, even every publicly traded company is owned by the DTCC. The DTCC owns every single stock in the market. And so they're the ones that get to decide when to dilute. And I believe they have an algorithm that says the harder retail investors buy, the harder we fight the price. And so basically Mullen's the hardest ever fought, which means it's the hardest to ever go up. Newton's third law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The harder they fight the price at the lower prices, the higher the prices we go in the future prices. It's a guarantee, people. It's a guarantee. Yeah, I got to take my girl out. We went back to the restaurant that we met at, which is called the Thirsty Lion. Alright guys, well if there's nothing else, I think I'm going to go pick up some lunch and drop it off at my girl's work right now. She had to work this weekend, it's a bummer. But she quitting faster than anybody, that's for sure. As soon as we get money, she's off the hook. After the squeeze, you'll be hitting up my PayPal. Like, I don't like that noise. I really don't. Like, after the squeeze, you should be, like, making money on the ups and downs with me. And then, like, when I have $1 million and you see me go try to change the world, you should be bringing yourself up to the stadium saying you got $1 million too, and you fucking back me as another millionaire. And like you don't give no money nowhere, but you're like there, and when I'm speaking on the stage, you're sitting in the back on a throne saying, we're here to change the fucking world. I don't want fucking pity donations. Fuck that shit. If you want to pity donate to me, do it while I'm broke. I only say how I really feel all the time. If you look through my community page, you can find my Discord. I'm at Trades Kings with a Z. Trades TRADEZ King 9. Trades King 9 on Twitter. If you guys are big on Reddit and you guys are on r/Mullen, you should start a petition and start having votes. Like do a poll to have Recipe for Life 23 let back in because I was banned from r/Mullen. If you guys want to do a poll on there to let me back in and like tag this link in a video type thing, like I only bring the facts. I'm the only one that's not hiding any of the facts. Everyone else that's even pro Mullen, like they're kind of on the right track and they're saying okay things, and so I like and share their stuff just because I'll take whatever we can get right now just because I want as many poor people to make money as possible. And so as many people are saying it's going to go up at least 100%, like I support that. And so all I'm saying is this is the only truth you're ever going to find where I hide nothing ever. And I hope that you guys should go on r/Mullen and do a poll and just do poll after poll of u/Recipe for Life 23 needs to be let back into r/Mullen because he started the movement on Reddit, both on r/Short Squeeze, r/Small Street Bets, r/Wall Street Bets, r/Mullen, and he's been banned from every single one. I've been banned from every single one. I only chase plays, so if my Discord stays up, I only chase plays that are guaranteed like AMC and Mullen was. I won't chase a play until it's already guaranteed, until I already see the retail support, and then I go all in on it. And so I'll keep the Discord open, and hopefully it's a lot more than just stocks in the future, because there's so much more to do in this world than just make money, people. We got to fix a broken world. And so like, if you're sticking with me with the long haul, not till just after you get rich, like, you better be ready to work because I ain't fucking stopping. Like, this is just the beginning. Like, my work doesn't start until I get rich. That's when I work 24 hours a day. Stockholders are fine. If you're all in on stocks, you're going to 10x to 20x your money. Like, don't be fucking greedy. If you didn't take the time like everybody else to learn options and all that other shit, like, don't be mad about it. Don't be mad someone else is making more money when we're the good people. We're the ones trying to help the world. If you buy stock, buy more stock. You're going to 10 to 20x your money. Fucking do it. What are we talking about here? I'm not mad either. I'm just saying, like if somebody comes and complains to me that they only made 10x their money on Mullen because they only bought a shit ton of stock and they didn't buy options, I'm just be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck? 3,000 shares on Mullen right now is $10,000. That means you're going to have $100,000 to $200,000 here in a little bit. That means when you cash out your $150,000 to $200,000 and then you buy back in on the bottoms after it dips every time, you're gonna have lots of money, and it only takes a 5% down payment for new house buyers. Like anyone that like is mad that they didn't get more than a new house when they never owned a house before Mullen, fuck you, bro. Like you're gonna have more than enough money for a 5% down payment to buy a $500,000 house that was selling for fucking $1,000,000 2 months ago. But now that the market's about to collapse and the housing's about to collapse, you're gonna be able to go buy a high interest rate on a house, but 5% down. So you put down $50,000, but you still got $150,000 in the bank to pay for the next mortgage for the next 10 years, and you ain't got shit to worry about. Like, what are we talking about here, people? What are we talking about? We don't take shills in the chat. Hamo Hamovic says Mullen is going down. I banned him instantly because no shills in the chat, bitch. Down in history. Mullen's going down in history. Down in the record books. Greatest squeeze of all time. GME was a fake. They never diluted GME. That's how you know GME was a fake. GME was just Ryan Cohen becoming like an Elon Musk to try to guide retail sentiment. But it was really to distract from the dilution war happening on AMC. That's what happened. GME was a fake. I have no idea what, like, here's the thing. The higher Mullen goes this squeeze, the less chance there is of another squeeze. If we only hit $20 in the next 2 weeks, that means we're still going to hit $100 3 months from now after we finish another round of dilution. N-Hill 21981. What stops them is dilution. They can't keep holding the price down, even to beat the options, without more dilution. But they are running dry on dilution. They've gone from 20 million shares to 300 million shares in the last 4 weeks. They can't keep affording to do it because they only have 200 million shares more to dilute. And so some of that's got to account for the FOMO. Last time FOMO happened on AMC, they had to dilute 100 million shares at $20 a share, back when it was at $5 a share. So they can't keep diluting. We're going way up. I do not think they will dilute at $10 a share. When those 880s exercise, I think it's going to go to 20, 30, 40 before they dilute for the FOMO. And then it'll come back after 30 or 40. It'll come back to $8, $10, $15 one time. And then it'll go back to 40. And then it'll drop back to 20. And it'll trade sideways forever unless retail just buys everything. I don't care about insiders buying anything. None of that means anything to me. I only care about retail and I only care about public float. Retail or insiders buying anything means nothing to me. It's all about the retail. They are fighting retail right now. Maybe Sen's buying in because they're going to merge Sen and Mullen, all this other bullshit. I don't fucking know and I don't fucking care. Like, in order for them to merge with the company, in order for them to sell out to a Fortune 500 company, in order for them to add more dilution, they have to make a vote. And retail has to vote on that. And retail will say to no to everything that does not pay them at least 1,000% ROI. So who cares? Who cares what happens? We getting paid, bitch. We got them. We got them. We got their backs against the wall, people. They ain't got nothing on us. Oh. All right, guys, I'm going to leave at the 1 hour mark, so I got 4 more minutes. Any final questions? 4 more minutes. Any final questions? We got them by the balls. Says, and what? And what? I think I will be in court because I have been threatened. Like back on YouTube, back when I was on Reddit before I got banned, there was a bunch of little like 1 day old accounts that says we're watching you, and then they jump in my Discord before I ban them, and they would just be like, "We're watching you, we're coming after you." I went on a space call on Twitter with Rocket Man, who's all AMC, and after I gave my pitch on Mullen 3 or 4 weeks ago, he got so mad at me. And like him and a couple other douchebags were talking about how I smoke meth or some stupid bullshit, which is not true. Like, have I smoked meth in my life? Yes. Not in years and not more than 5 times in my entire life. So it's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. And then they're talking about like, this guy needs to be murdered. This guy needs to be kidnapped. Like, and I was there for all of it. And all I responded was, some people are willing to die for what they invest in, bitch. And then he blocked me. And after that, I can't see his posts or get on his calls no more. But yeah, like here's the thing. I feel like if they tried to kill me, whether it's them, the government, hedge funds, I don't give a, like fucking drug dealers, I don't give a fuck who's in charge. Like if they tried to kill me, if they did kill me, like I feel like the world just like goes on war. Like I feel like my story gets out if I end up dead, and the whole world just like, yeah, this can never happen again. This guy was right about everything. Fuck this world, no more. And so like I'm kind of willing to put my life on the line, but also I don't feel like they got the balls to do that. I feel like the news says about like all the Hillary Clinton suicides and all that bullshit. Like I feel like all that's to make you afraid to stand up and speak truth to power. I feel like they're just trying to make you afraid to speak truth to power, and I'm not afraid. I'm willing to die for what I fucking talk about, what I believe in, what I invest in. And so I personally believe this is closer to the story of the Bible, where we get 1,000 years of peace and the whole world learns how to live together, and it's one country at a time, and Arizona becomes its own country when I'm a governor and I annex the whole fucking state of Arizona. Like, that's the kind of shit I'm thinking about. The good price to get in on Mullen is right now, bitch. As soon as fucking pre-market opens, as soon as fucking regular market opens, as soon as you can buy, you should be buying. If you can buy in at $2 and get the $40, or you can buy in at $4 and get the $40, it don't matter. Like, you're being greedy if you're fucking counting those pennies. 10x your fucking money right now or buy options. Don't you dare fucking wait for more dips, people. Don't you fucking dare wait for more dips. We're going to hit 20 next week, motherfuckers. 20 next week. Who cares about dilution? I already talked about dilution. What are you talking about? All right, guys. I'm outie. Have a good day.